alive, can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
What is going on, guys? As you probably suspected, the E93 M3 2013 is right behind me, and we have complete light kit right here. I managed to go through a whole bunch of lights and basically find one of the best and the cheapest versions of it. And today we're going to be installing pretty much every single light inside of the car and outside. That's going to be H3, H8, the regular LED bulbs for the interior, also the turn signals. And that car have LCI version, the rear lights, but the front lights regular HID. For some reason it doesn't have that LED turn signals, which is they used to be from 2009, and whichever the LCI, the lights or whatever stuff was going into the options, but this car doesn't have. But we're going to be installing something interesting, and all of those lights going to be in description below. That's pretty much the kit what you're gonna need for every single light inside of the car. And then the question, why the factory did not get every single light in the car LED? And it's relatively new car, 2013. It's already have a bunch of like LED strips, LED overhead lighting, and so on and so on. The license plate lights are LED, the markers lights are LED, the door handles have LEDs in there. There are a bunch of LEDs in there, and we still back in 2000 because we have yellow interior light, yellowish angel eyes, which is really good question. So today we're gonna fix all of that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the yellow angel lights are bad or any. I still love the look, the classic look of the car. But you know, you wanted to feel the car more fresh, and you want to do something to it not really expensive, which is relatively cheap. Because under $100 you can basically buy every single light for the car, and with really decent quality. The most expensive on our list, this is the actual angel eyes, which is came roughly around $50. Then the next on our list, this is the turn signal lights, which is going to be for the front, and I already used them for my X5, and they actually awesome. They really good. Like we're gonna test it out, but those guys makes the light pop just like 100% over the stock light. Those guys, they're gonna be going inside of the interior, and some of you know those guys from the door panels, and I'm gonna be replacing them for the stock one because my have M logo just popping on the asphalt. I just wanted to have pure white color coming from them, no logos, no anything. I don't want to see that bullshit, because that's kind of silly. And with no further ado, let's get to the job. Okay guys, I wanted to show you the stock setup, which we have yellow halogen bulbs and the H3, the cornering light, as well as the yellowish, which is total disaster. One half of the headlight is yellow, the other half is half yellow and white. But on the other hand, that performance car, that aesthetic, the aggressive bumpers, hood, everything, it should look the same proportional. The yellow is not really that proportional to that car. That's strictly my opinion. I still like it, don't get me wrong. The classic look of the car, great. For the angel eyes and the cornering light, we need to pop the car right here. I'm just gonna be using the two tools. The two tabs located at the corners, as you can see them right here. Put it to the side. Right after we remove the cover at the front, we have our H3, which is our cornering light, and you have to press the spring and pull it toward the inside of the car, toward the center, and push the spring up. After that, we have that small cutout. We can pull the wire, and we have our H3. After all, you simply disconnect the connector right here. That's the positive connector. The base is the R negative, which is basically right here. Also at the bottom of the light we have two cutouts. One is the straight one, the other one is the rounded shape. The same kind of cutouts we have right on the base plate right there, which is we need to pop the light down, lower the spring, and fish the wire through the opening. Make sure the light is sitting correctly. Then hold the spring and fish it back into that locking position. Make sure it's locked all the way. And now we can reconnect the harness. At the base right here, we have our H8, which is our angel eye. So you simply need to push it counterclockwise. If you're looking at from the front of the car, you need to undo it, unscrew it, and basically pull the bolt out. I'm using the pliers for just the sake of education. Push the bottom of the light bulb down and fish it out the light bulb itself with the connector, of course. We have H8 style connector, which is we have two tops at the corner. I'm using the plastic tool to just lower the top and I push it down. After we're done, we're just popping it out. But before that, let me show you how does that light lightning. So this is how our regular light look like, and this is the LED one, which is super bright. I think it's 50 watts. We did everything what we need. We have quite a bit of space at the bottom of the house in there, so you can fish the capacitor all the way down. Make sure it's not going to be probably on a spot, and then fish the light down toward the inner side of the car and basically fish it inside of the housing. Use your fingers to find or match the cutouts for the lock, and then use the pliers and try to lock it. Okay, it's all good. Next step is going to be our capacitor, which is still can stay at the bottom, but you got to make sure whenever the light going to be moving, it's not going to be on the way, so it's kind of slapping in there freely. The particular light going to be suitable for H8, H11, and it has plus and minus on the top of the connector. It doesn't have any type of cutouts as the H8, so you gotta keep in mind the brown wire is gonna be a negative and the yellow is gonna be positive. So just do the connection, fish all the wires back, make sure you did not jam anything in there, and just lock it in place. All set. Okay, the next light is on our list. It's going to be the turn signal light, which is we have behind the wheel, we have the door, which we have two flathead. It's ideally to remove it while we have no wheel on the car, but for right now I'm going to be using just the quarter and make it turn those two knobs. So as you can see, we have the door, and this is the open position. We have a stop points for both lock and unlock position. Turn it clockwise, we're kind of going to lock it in place, and as you can see, we have the stop point right there. Right behind the guard, we have the little knob here, which you wanted to slide your hand and turn it counterclockwise. Okay, there you go, our beauties. To remove the old light bulb from the fixture, we need to squeeze the tops and turn clockwise, then get the new piece, hold the same way. Okay, doesn't matter which way, turn counterclockwise. The both sides gonna like be able to pop in the spot. So from that point, you know the position of the light. So you wanted to squeeze it in, just push it down, get the pliers and try to lock it in place. And we basically done with that side. So let's check the difference in between. Also the comparison with the newer and the older LEDs. Those guys, the older one, have only one polarity, so the one side is minus, the another is plus. It's not going to be working if you're going to reverse the polarity and pop it straight into the fixture, which is those guys gonna work both ways. Also, the new version of the LED lights have the capacitors, have all the components. They gonna be working pretty much anyhow you install them. Also, the new version of the LED lights have upgraded LED itself, so they're gonna be much brighter. They have more watts inside and more juice. The doors. I usually carry either the flathead, either the plastic tool, and the door lights has to be undone from the back. You basically slide your plastic tool, either the screwdriver, and kind of unclamp them. The other side gonna have the wire. This is not the original one, so I kind of don't like them. I wanted to simply install the regular lights, but with the LED inside, which they have nice white color. Same we're gonna do with the other side. Okay, jumping straight inside of the car, and we have another light. Now we need to simply pull the fixture out and pop the new one back. Okay, this is how much light we have. The next stop is going to be our central console at the top, which is going to have 3 fixtures, 3 lights. You simply need to pop the front, and the same clamps, same 2 clamps, going to be at the back. This is more for E93, but for example E92 or E90 going to have same structure. At the side, we're going to have 2 push knobs. Basically, they kind of the 2 pieces of plastic, and you have to press them. They kind of pretty tough, so just prepare to add a little bit of power. There are harness coming from one side and from another as well, so be careful with that. Also, for that job, I'm gonna be using the flathead, since we have anchor point, which is gonna be our metal frame. Okay, you don't have to remove any of the connectors unless you wanted to do something with it. You simply need to counterclockwise the top and remove the light. After that, we have 2 tops at the left side or at the driver's side. Fix them first. At the passenger side, we have 2 plastic tops. It could be a little bit of challenging. It's not going as smooth as you think, but after that, just go from the back toward the front. Make sure you did not jam any of the harness. Okay. Everything is lightening. The next slide going to require us to remove the console, the back console, which is simply popping out. From inside, you can kind of pop out the whole assembly. Why I didn't do it from the outside, you have a chance to damage the corner here, which is really easy to do. Now we can push the tops of the back plate. Okay, simply slide the plate and we have our light. So those lights are a little different. The same kind of lights are sitting inside of the sun visor. I messed it up a little bit and I order them from Amazon, but they still coming from China. You simply have to put out the light bulb from the housing and basically that's it. Getting inside of the glove box, and we have also different light inside of the glove box. It's kind of be bigger on a heavy side. I have those bulky guys, and they kind of older version of the LEDs. I wouldn't install it, but for the sake of education, like, I'm gonna just top them, and you can see the difference. They just getting you the white light. If you want, you can disconnect the light, because it's easier to make a shortage here. But after all, you need to just pop it out from the saddle, the light itself, and pop the new light. So I'm gonna squeeze that guy down here, which is not gonna quite fit as good as the original one, but you're gonna get an idea how does it look. Okay, now we can pop it back, and there you have it. So the next one on our list, it's gonna be the sun visor light. Get unclip the sun visor. Got your plastic tool at the center, because we have the biggest clip at the center, and basically pop it out right here. You can disconnect the harness, or you can replace the light itself. They are exactly the same as we were looking at the back of the car. They're really tiny bulbs. Like I said, we don't have them, so we're not going to be able to replace it. Also, there's another light inside of the trunk on the lead, and inside of the trunk as well. Pretty much done with the light conversion, and basically that's how you can call it, however you want to call it. After all, we're gonna cut out the H3 light, the cornering lights from the dash, because it does have the message on it. Also, we're gonna turn off the cold monitoring, which is basically the car sending the micro impulses to the lights and checking the current if anywhere in the system is a shortage. So in terms of that, we have the little impulses or the light flickering, which nobody want to see that stuff. Might be kind of cool, but I don't think so. So we're gonna turn off that, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. But after all, we have millions of projects: the tires, then the roof itself, the roof rattle, then we're gonna be doing the ceramic coating for the car. There are much more projects in terms of overall condition of the car, so stay tuned, subscribe, and like the video if you like it. Anyway, I'll see you next one.